All right, and welcome back to another episode of Marketing Without Rules, the show where we work to inspire business owners by bringing on guests who exemplify the hunter mindset. They make moves, they color outside the lines, and they have found creative ways to channel the attention of their community into currency. This show is sponsored by Blue Crocus Solutions, a web design and SEO agency focused on helping home service companies. I am your host, Louis Vandervalk, and today I have the pleasure of chatting with James. I don't know where that came from, but we're going to go with James. James Yacoubian. James built the YacDaddy free mobile app that turns your job site photos into cash. We're going to get into a bunch of cool stuff today. We're going to talk about why Yaks, because I think that's a fun story. But welcome to the show, James, or Jacob. That's your alter ego for this show, I guess.
Yeah, common mistake. It's very easy to make, no problem. Yeah, I'm excited to dig in.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your background. My understanding is you had a marketing agency before, and then I just kind of want to know, personally. Obviously, I've seen you around. Jake Still, actually, shout out to Jake. Jake Still with Junk Rescue. Put me onto your feed. He's like, I'm following this James guy, and he's doing like some really cool stuff with he posts all the time. He's got the attention of the community, and so that was maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Then I reached out. We scheduled a podcast, and here we are. But tell us why did you choose to go the direction of the app? You can briefly tell us what the app is, and then we'll get obviously a lot deeper into that. But give us a little bit of the path to here, because I think that lends some credibility and some depth to why you created the app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it started coming up on 3 years ago when I got into the marketing industry with a new approach. Getting into something brand new from scratch, I didn't know what I was doing. And so I started out working commission basis. So nice. I was cold calling, I was hammering the phones, and I was saying, don't pay me till I get you results. Purely commission basis. I fronted the marketing material, and yeah, it was about a year trying all sorts of different platforms, from LinkedIn, cold calling, trying to get on better. From that, I was able to just pick one, and I chose SEO because after hopping back and forth, I've learned a lot about the industry, but I'm going to pick one, and it's going to be SEO because it's kind of a rough industry. Both you and I know, and there's a massive market there. And so after a year, I dove straight in. I'm only doing SEO, and I started the first 6 months of that, still commission basis, learning how to track calls, track revenue, and eventually developed a system around tracking revenue. From marketing, that was kind of the first building block of the agency, because no matter what I did or was hustling to get results for clients, it was always going to be, you see the input, you see the output. And from there, I started off the SEO journey there with giving my clients a company CAM account. And to this day, I still don't have an exact reason why, but I knew I needed photos from customers to get them quality content out there. It was not systemized. It was not, it was really is an alternative to Google Drive, really. It's just upload some photos, please, that I can use to get you results, and start writing content about. And I would take those photos and manually download them on my computer and upload them to their Google business profile manually, and manually take in their customers' phone numbers, type them into high level to send a review request. And so it started out very, very primitive of manually tracking revenue, manually tracking, taking content, manually sending review requests. It was very primitive, but over time, in those first 6 months where it was strictly commission basis, I developed more of a system around it and slowly started learning about APIs and getting that systemized with Company Cam, where they would complete a project, take photos of a project, mark it complete, and I slowly added in steps to automate the process of getting their content out there and then tracking where the revenue came from. So making sure that their content gets out on all platforms and tracking where the revenue comes in. And those dual systems working together have slowly evolved into what the YacDaddy app is now today, which is simply taking photos in the YacDaddy app and then seeing that cash come in from new jobs, from higher ticket prices, from the reviews you get, from the content you put out there, and building a system around content, which is
Love it.
what the YacDaddy is and does.
Yeah, it's really cool. So can I just reframe or regurgitate back to you to make sure I'm tracking with everything? So Company Cam, for those that don't know, it's very common in the home remodeling industry, roofing, etc. They use it a lot for taking pictures of projects. It's a great way to kind of have your team on it. You can take pictures right through the app and everything. So James was basically taking all those manually, downloading them, putting them up on Google Business Profiles, doing the review requests, all of that, and tracking revenue manually. But YacDaddy app, now you can take pictures through the app. It stores them, it uploads them. It writes content as well. Is that correct? Like social posts and all of that. Sends review requests. Tracks revenue and everything off of each of those jobs. Am I exaggerating there when I run through that?
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's basically Company Cam, but it makes those photos work for you. So you take photos of the project, and once you mark it complete, you have the option to upload them to your Google Business Profile, post them to your Google Business Profile website, have an article that is about that project you did, Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms to make those job site photos work for you.
That's incredible. That's content is king. You mentioned that it's a struggle, and that's why you kind of went with Company Cam. It's a struggle to get your team, or in the case of SEO clients, sometimes it's not something that business owners necessarily prioritize, but it's so important to have those. So let's walk through. Let's actually divert a little bit. Why Yaks? Obviously, it works well with your last name, but let's take a little diversion here, and then we'll get back into the technical stuff.
Yeah. So Yaks, it turns out there are yaks across my street, and I get questions all the time if I live on a farm. I used to live in Pennsylvania. Now I'm in North Carolina, and it just so happens that right down the street, a few blocks away, there are yaks. And I drive by them every day. And I don't know if it was because of those yaks that subconsciously it just was in my mind yaks all the time. But I came up with the name YacDaddy, and because I was willing to go a little bit more spunky, because it's a software marketing. But now, then I realized there were yaks across the street. I'm like, I need to.
It's just some marketing.
Going all in on this. All in on this. Yeah.
Gold mine for sure. So I think we're lagging there a little bit. Go for it.
So going all in on the yaks, even though there's a YAC or YAK, YAKDaddy.com was taken. So I'm for domains. So I went with YacDaddy.com, and the domain was free. So I'm going for it.
That's amazing. So did you teach yourself all the coding? Do you have a team doing it? Is it all you? No right or wrong answers. I'm just genuinely curious. How do you take something, where you're just doing everything manually? You see a better way through automation and a way to make this easier for, end users. And that's, how YacDaddy was born. But where did your, was it just a crash course in connecting everything up?
It was, so I started manually with Company Cam, and from there I learned the APIs with Company Cam, which is essentially, for those who don't know, taking in data from Company CAM and extracting it into other programs in other places. So manually think of it as triggers and actions. When a Company CAM project is labeled complete, then take this data, complete these functions, and post it, send the review request, that sort of thing. And it started learning that, and it slowly evolved into, okay, if I'm going to not only take this and automate it, but also improve upon this, I'm going to need an app of my own that I can develop in any given direction.
Control the whole end-to-end production, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I can control it, and then there are all sorts of other features to be able to add that I'm able to add now. But it started with that, and then it was a matter of first designed how I wanted all the pages to look and what the functions I wanted to have. And I took that and then went to all the third-party freelancer sites and looked for some developers who could make this happen. And the one thing I've learned, I've had some pretty incredible people to learn about this process from, just from the cold calling I did 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And one of whom turned out to be a developer, and that was a gold mine of information for me. But I learned the more you front load all of what you want, how you want it to work, how you want it designed, is the way to get it done right, rather than saying, here, developer, I want this, and have a long Word document of ideas. Not the way to go. You need to have everything laid out for that to get across. And so that started in April of last year, the process of development and hiring. And since then, it has gone from, I've found a great developer who has gone from project basis of, I need this done. Okay, let's add this project, this mini project in here, to now it's a payroll relationship. But it started project basis, and it started with chunks of projects, and now it's an ongoing, we need these 10 things done over the course of the next month or so. But that's kind of how the development process started. Chunks
That's
at a time.
amazing. Kudos to you. Frank, welcome to the show. Appreciate you tuning in. Anybody has questions for James as we go through here, drop them in the comments and we'll pull them up. That's so cool, man. A year is not very long. I mean, it's less than a year. And you're rolling it out now. Let's talk a bit about what people should post, because people kind of freeze up. Their minds are like, well, I can't just post, the same thing every day, or I have no idea what to post. In a lot of cases, I think it's mostly people just have no idea what to post about. You do a great job of posting, incorporating the yaks and making interesting content and what. But let's pick a random industry. Let's pick roofing or plumbers. You pick whichever you prefer, and give us some ideas on your philosophy around posting. And you can weave in how YacDaddy can help with that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're a plumber, and what you do every day is you fix problems. You go out there, you drain the drains, you plumb the plumbing, and you just do projects after project, answering questions over the phone, answering questions. And that's what you do all day. And you're wondering what to write about, what to post about, and you're at a standstill because there are people all across the internet who post about all sorts of other things that that's not in your realm. And the trick with content, or the way I see it, to be able to put out lots of high quality content, is post about what you're doing every day. And what you're doing every day is projects. You're cleaning pipes, you're draining drains. Boy, that really goes to show how little I know about the plumbing industry. But
you can pick we'll make that the tagline for the episode. But I mean, you can pick any industry. I think I want to want to highlight something here. Gary Vaynerchuk and Gary V, if you guys are familiar, he's got a philosophy around content. And if anybody follows him, you know how just insanely much content he puts out, and it's all different. It's all interesting. It's all him, yelling at someone inspirationally or knocking them upside the head to get them, kind of thinking straight. But his philosophy around content is document, don't create. I think I got that last part right, but I know he talks about documenting, right? And that's what you can do. I mean, if you're a plumber, if you're a roofer, pick any industry, you're doing stuff every day that most people don't know about. Most people don't know why you do these things. It's second nature to you. But, saying that you're going into Sally Joe's house to, fix the toilet ring because this happened and this is why you wanted to do it. Someone's like, oh crap, that's happening to my toilet too. Maybe I need to get that looked at. And so there's a ton that happens there. I just wanted to highlight that, and I'll let you take the mic again, James. So.
Exactly, because you may not think it's interesting, but Sally on the other end, who had their toilet fixed and trying to figure out what was this problem I was dealing with, they're all eyes and ears. And I've learned about this, or have started to apply this myself, where the questions I get, the things I do every day, that I'm talking to, explaining concepts to, that's what I write about. And because I'm doing it every day, there's an endless source of it. It's not a trying to think of something new deal where that's outside of your realm, because it's actually going to be really interesting to the people who have that ring that's stuck in their drain that they're trying to get fixed. And so the things you're doing every day attract the people who find that problem or find that interesting or have that problem.
Yeah, there's no industry that's outside of that rule either. There's I can't think of one anyway, because everybody has questions. So yeah, go ahead, go for it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm applying it, and I'm in the software marketing industry, and that is supposed to be very different than plumbing, but it's really not that much in that. Take the questions and calls that you get. If there's a way you can document it now, working on that with the YacDaddy app, but there's a way you can take that and get that feedback loop where you have a question from a customer and you answer it to them over the phone, to then use that as a source of content for what should I post about? Oh, Sally had this question. Why not explain that on the internet, which then gets pushed out to other people with that problem, or other people with a similar problem, and know that you're the expert for that specific topic.
Yeah, this can apply to marketing, junk removal, roofing, plumbing, anything. There's a great book out there along this topic called They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. And the whole concept is take the questions that you get asked and write content about it. Do videos about it, do a post on social media, do a blog post about, the questions that you get. People have questions about what affects pricing. They have questions about, why does my air conditioner squeak when it's starting up? Why are my shingles peeling on the edge of the roof? Why do I have a leak, near my chimney, but everything else in the roof seems good? These are all questions that you're going to get when you're out doing quotes, when you're on the job, when you're wrapping up the jobs, when you're doing sales. Keep a mental note, or actually even better, just write them down in a notes app and write content about it, or use the YacDaddy app and take pictures and have it right. So I'm actually gonna like pivot to the AI part of it. We didn't talk about that when we first kind of introduced it here, but there's a whole engine inside it that you will be able to send it a photo and then tell it a bit about the job, and it will take it and run with it. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. So how it works is it will take as much data as humanly possible from all your sources, and you have a lot more data than you think. So if you use a CRM, House Call Pro, Jobber, every project has a list that you put in there manually of this is what was done at the job, this is what the customer specifically requested. And so the YacDaddy app will actually draw that data from Jobber, House Call Pro, whatever CRM that you that you use, take those invoice line items and use that to come up with a project description. And you can go in and add details or take away details as you see fit, but that information is pre-populated from the data you already have. And when you think plumber, you don't think data, AI, that sort of thing, but that's what I'm here for. This is all I do. It's all I really want to do, which is just finding ways to get data of what you're already doing and get it out in such a way where it's easy for you to post content that's high quality. And so the AI will draw data from all of these places in a cohesive way of what's going on and take that and add your photos that you take at the job site. And that's what creates a super easy and high quantity way of getting your content out there about the projects you're doing. And that's just one content type. And right now, the YacDaddy app only has projects explicitly in there, but anything, and we'll be adding soon, other ways of taking in other forms of data, other forms of inputs, and creating other forms of content.
So can you walk us through like the most mind-blowing example of what this can do? Because I think that people need to hear it a couple times to actually understand what problem this solves. It took me a little bit to catch on, actually, and I'm in this world all the time. I was like, okay, what's he doing? Okay, cool. That makes sense. All right. Oh, cool. That's awesome. This solves like a massive problem for business owners where they just don't record things in a way that makes sense to hand to a team member. But the AI, the YacDaddy app, can go pull all this info and then spit it out all the places. So like kind of walk us through the craziest use case and how this can really change the game for a business owner.
Oh yeah. You know what? I had, it's only been recently that I've pinpointed what this is, because it's not quite traditional SEO and it's not quite social media marketing in the ways that it's traditionally done. And I had a world of trouble coming to this point where I can put my finger on it. It is content engine marketing is the way it's termed, where it's taking in data and outputting content. So that comes in all sorts of types, forms, all sorts of different types of data, all sorts of different types of content. And there really is no limit to it. Right now, YacDaddy is in beta and it's just projects and taking reviews and collecting reviews. But I'm working on it. Like the most mind-blowing example would be from what I'm testing and experimenting for YacDaddy itself, of taking in YacDaddy's data and outputting content. And that is where it takes in, say I have a call with a customer and I explain to them how the revenue tracking works, or what specific problem they're having with their Google business profile, or how to get it to rank. And right now I have an AI that transcribes that and repurposes it into frequently asked questions content. We have this for a few of our clients to test with, but that data is then stored. And then when you complete a project, it will go and find the customer's call transcriptions to find out what they requested, what were some of their concerns, and then use that for content. And then let's go another step further, where they leave a review saying, thank you to the business for these specific services. Then the system will take in the customer name, match it to the project, match it to all the call transcriptions where you answer the question for them, and it can write a more personalized response automatically, because it's just an extension of yourself writing the content. And it gets pretty mind-blowing when you could take 5 of these sources of data and have them all working together, weaving in and out. And I'm working on structuring the YacDaddy app to be able to accommodate 5, 10 of these content types working with each other that take in next to no input. I've got a client, shout out to Jared, my client, Billsland. He has the customer factor on, and his technicians take photos for him at a job site. And he's got invoice line items, and without using the YacDaddy app for posting, without any input, it will automatically post all his projects, thanking the customer, coming out with outputs, and he doesn't touch it.
That's insane.
And
That's
it posts to
incredible.
Facebook, Instagram, and it takes care of his social media management and his SEO and keeping up with it, where it takes no input, but it also is valuable content. Thanking the customer for what they did, explaining what they did, how they did it, because that's all in the invoice. Taking that data and just making it readable, putting it in a readable way. So eventually it will take in very little extra input, very little, for the future of the YacDaddy or content engine marketing is where you don't do anything and content is taken care of for you on all platforms.
That's the dream. That's the dream as a business owner. I'm feeling like doing a live demo here. Not necessarily the software, but can we pull up like your client that you were just mentioning, and we can actually take a look at like what it's spitting out?
Let's
not to put you on the spot, but sometimes showing.
Let's do it. No, I love it.
Yeah. So you can either do it from your side. You can actually present, or I can do it from my side. But it probably makes more sense for you to run the controls there.
Yeah.
So if you, at the bottom of the screen, you should have present. Again, take your time there. But I think that there's some value in kind of seeing how that comes together. Because guys, while James is pulling that up,
sure.
This is the dream when it comes to content marketing. So if you finish a job and then your team's taking photos, you wrap up that project, it's done, it sends out a review request. Now the review, it goes back and it looks at everything. The review, the invoice, all the texting, calling, etc., conversations that you had, the questions that were answered, everything like that. And now it can turn it into content for social posts, for blog posts, for Google business listing posts, for all of this to basically spread the message uniquely across all of these platforms around what it is that you're doing. Really, really crazy, really exciting. All right, so we've got got this right here. I'm going to make this as small as possible here.
Okay, yeah. So here we have his Google business profile posts, where it will take in the location data about what's being done, such as the interior windows, sliding doors, and taking in the window track.
What's the business name? It's a bit blurry.
Business name is South Tampa Gutter and Window Cleaning.
Okay, let me pull it up on my side. I know I said it'd be better for you to do it, but it's just a bit blurry. Let me know if it's better when I do it. I don't know if it will be, but we'll try it. So it's South Tampa. What was it? South Tampa
Gutter and Window Cleaning. Shout out to Jared. I hope you don't mind me sharing this with you, but you've got the most amount of data to help with this content, and it makes it.
Hey, this is some more SEO action on his on his website here. So I think I've got this right here. Choosing the window. That's weird. That's not what I wanted.
So each of these articles will take in data from the invoice, photos from the project, process them into a cohesive article that gets repurposed and is structured differently depending on the platform. And each one is designed to write about that specific service they did in that specific area. So if you go to and scroll down to the Google business profile posts, those each gets posted automatically, directly. And when you learn more, it'll take you to the website article.
That's crazy. Okay, so I'm just gonna break this down for people because this is second nature to James here. But basically, updates, you never know what to actually post for an update, right? So basically it's taken the whole project here. It's done an update. It's written a whole setup here. They wrapped up the project, and I'm going to hit on some SEO stuff here too. So it's got the location, it's got the zip code, it's got what they did exactly. So they brightened the windows, the interior windows, the sliding doors, spotless, streak-free shrine. Very, very specific. The 9-inch window track. All of this stuff plays into the SEO, and then someone can say learn more. And what it does is it took us directly to a blog post that was auto posted on their website of exactly what they did for this entire project. And my understanding is that James, what was it? What was the name of the client again?
This is South Tampa Gutter and Window.
Yeah, sorry, the owner of the company.
Oh, Jared builds.
Jared, okay. Yeah. We've got Jared. I called you Jacob earlier. We'll get it right here.
Yeah.
But basically, Jared's team just had to do the work, and then it pulled this whole concept. It's got
just take the
links. That's insane. So it's got links out here. It's got interlinking happening. It's playing all of this into, and going back to the content engine marketing, this matters to SEO. So even if it wasn't doing this blog posting and everything, even if it was just doing social posts and just doing Google business posts and so on, that is very valuable for your brand to be showing up in different places. A highly trafficked Facebook page can rank. Google sees every time you post about your business on different platforms. It's brand entities that are being mentioned around. So this is a big deal. James, I'm kind of stealing it here because I'm excited about it. But anything else you want to highlight?
Yeah, a concern or objection I get a lot is the idea of having AI write content for you, or not having somebody in between reviewing the content, or just where's the human element? And the human element is what you're already doing, and the AI is not there to be in your place. It's to make what you're already doing just a little bit more readable and repurposed for that specific platform for customers to engage in and read. So basically taking out any sensitive data from the invoice, making it readable, making it presentable, and publishing it to all platforms. So it's not the ChatGPT write some content for me. That's kind of a concern. That's what most people think of when they think of AI is ChatGPT, with all the emojis and
the long dashes.
This number. Oh yes, and the asterisks to like bold something. Oh yeah. Boy. So, but this just takes in what you're already doing, and it's the way I think that content is going to go forward, is with more real, presentable data, rather than all the traditional ChatGPT nonsense or jargon, which is actually most blog posts anyway now. But this takes in what you're already doing and writes about it. The other objection you might get is if you're just posting projects, there's no variety. If somebody goes to your Facebook page, it's just project after project after project. And that's why I'm working to add in other content types. So the other content type that we have now for pro users is reviews, taking in, so each of these projects will send those pictures to the customer and say, if you like the pictures, if you like the experience, leave us a review, and that works really well. And once that review is collected, then it will post to all platforms about the review you got. So it'll thank the customer, it will showcase the review, and that mixes in with the content to add variety on all platforms and also thank the customer, which gets your name out there. The third content type that is in beta right now that I'm the most pumped about, I'm very excited about this, is frequently asked questions content from call transcriptions. Huge. This takes, I know. I'm still working to make sure each of the answers are exactly accurate, because you don't want to put out content that's not accurate out there. But what this does is it takes in your answer that you provided over the phone to the customer with their questions, and it takes that and writes in the same way an article to your website about that specific question, which is already optimized for SEO, because what they ask over the phone is what they're searching. And
Yep.
if it's not what they're searching yet, eventually as SEO engines get more and more sophisticated, you're going to ask more and more in-depth questions that your answers over the phone are going to be the ones, the questions that you're able to draw in customers from, that other companies don't think to ask and don't think to answer naturally. But if you're already answering it over the phone, you know it's a real question and concern, and therefore you want to get it out there to the customer. And that's going to be worked in as a blog style and repurposed, but that's going to bring in the natural visitors that this local project content is missing, because you are missing those global searches, and it's going to start bringing in and supplementing for those global searches. It's also going to provide make your website a database in and of itself that is valuable for search engines and AI to scrape and link you to and backlink you to. And that is going to be a really powerful content type to add in the mix here. And that is available in beta for pro users. Mm-hmm.
Super powerful.
Yeah.
You mentioned before the content engine marketing. There's you went through the different types of posts, but people can get creative too with how they take photos. It doesn't need to just be before and after photos or random crummy photos. You can weave in your team, your smiling team, your goofy team, your sad team, your branded vehicles, your happy clients. People are fantastic to have in your photos, and people buy from people. So seeing other happy people or sad team members I don't know why I said that before, but seeing people in there automatically has like a connection to people that are looking. There's a lot of value in that, and it's a way to switch up your content as well. But this is I'm so excited watching you roll this stuff out just from an SEO perspective, because user generated content, which is what this is, it's generated from the team, it's generated from the real conversations, it's generated from the real job and everything that was done there. You can't beat that. I cannot, as an SEO agency, write as good content about your specific job unless you really just give me all the data, you give me all the transcripts. But what if you could be doing it yourself? Or what if you can be doing it and then maybe your SEO agency goes in and adds a tiny little something or adds another little thing, but it's doing it on autopilot for you all the time, just making it happen. It's huge. Have you connected a random thought I had as we were chatting here around the value of user-generated content, the value of content marketing in general, and documenting, not having to create out of thin air. Have you connected with Dennis Yu by chance?
Dennis, no.
Dennis Yu. I'm having him on the podcast tomorrow. So it's Dennis Yu.
Really?
I'm having him on the podcast tomorrow, so you'll be able to tune in. But that's his whole concept. His team does not write content for clients. They're an SEO agency. They do this stuff. What they do is they take video content from their clients. They teach them how to do video content, record shows, record conversations with their team and everything. And then they take that, run it through to script, and write blog posts, write service pages, weave in different things around that. And that's how they build the authority of the client. They're not just creating, we're a gutter cleaning company in Tampa, and this is all the keywords that we think should be in a blog. I think there'd be some synergy there for sure, and some very similar. So this is kind of the week of user generated content on the podcast, but I can connect you guys after too. I think there's some really cool synergy there, and probably some ways you guys could collaborate as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Videos are super, that's the next, man, there's a lot I want to add into the app like immediately, but video style things are definitely high on the priority list, to be able to take simple video, whatever concept you're explaining, and repurpose to all platforms. And the trend is to make it easier and easier to connect with customers on the internet
Yep.
with both more and higher quality content with
Agreed.
what you're already doing. And so video is a very powerful source of those connections with customers. That's next. That is awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to them.
Yeah, it is for those listening now, obviously, if you're listening on the podcast after, but it's at 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I'll be going live just like I'm doing here. But there's something interesting you mentioned as well around how, every time you do a project, it's doing a blog, it's getting that data out there. Everybody's worried about AI search, AI engine optimization. But if you have all this data on your website, you become a source of knowledge, certainly locally, but potentially nationally, although the local, typically for the businesses we're working with and for, is where it really matters. And so the AI is going to find the information there, and then it's going to cite you as the source of the information that is helping someone when they're searching. So it might be a commercial intent, like somebody who's actually ready to buy gutters in the case of Jared, or it might be someone who's like, what the heck do I do with a gutter full of leaves? At which point, it's going to pull up some information that Jared's YacDaddy app has built out based on, questions that have been answered in a conversation. And then they're going to be like, oh, that's awesome. I definitely don't want to do this myself. I'm going to call them to come out and do it, or whatever the case may be as it applies to the service you offer. It's going to scrape that data. It's going to put you up in the AI overview there. And then you're now like above the ads, you're above the map pack, you're above the websites, and you're crushing it. So there's a lot of power. There's a lot of excitement on my side when it comes to SEO. I was chatting about this with someone last night. It's like, times are changing, yes, but times are changing when we moved from Yellow Pages, and it's a whole heck of a lot more exciting and fun than Yellow Pages, and I think it's just going to continue that way. So it's looking forward to seeing it. Well, James, this has been really fun. If this doesn't embody, kind of marketing outside the rules, coloring outside the lines, and taking a problem that you saw that was something that every business owner has, and coming up with a solution. That is awesome. And for those who haven't gone to check it out, the link will be in the description. Go find James. Search YacDaddy. It's a pretty memorable brand. Get on a call with James. See if it could be applicable for your business, and get out there and be a hunter. It's this stuff doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't just magically happen. But James has pretty much made it magical, to where you can hook up the software, get connected, make those things happen, feed it the info. You're already doing the work. You just don't have to do it twice. The software does it for you the second time, and allows you to kind of do the stuff you were already doing and not have to worry about that extra step that trips a lot of people up. So, James, definitely some nuggets in here. A little bit of a different one here on Marketing Without Rules. And shout out to James, because this was his first podcast episode. You wouldn't know it from his chat here, but I appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate you sharing what you're up to and the excitement that is YacDaddy. Any final thoughts for people, or anything?
Much appreciated.
Yeah, no, for sure. Any final thoughts, or any places that? Go for it.
I'm just honored to be here. I've been watching a few of these episodes, and the one with Hey Tony, that I don't know how I am on the same podcast with Hey Tony and you, but it's super cool to be here, and it's I think it's really cool to connect with people over the changes that are happening, because it's just a never-ending cycle of it's just evolving rapidly, and to be a part of the conversation with this and learn with you and get your insights on this sort of thing. It's awesome.
I love it. Well, James is far too humble, because what he's doing, I have no idea how to do, and wouldn't even know where to start. I might have the idea one day and be like, it would be nice to solve this problem, but I certainly wouldn't pick up and solve it like James has done. So I'm excited to have him on the podcast. Hope you guys took some stuff away. And if you do nothing else, even if you don't follow up with James, start thinking about how you can be doing more content. Start thinking about how you can be posting some more of this stuff on your own. Even if you don't use YacDaddy, it's going to make your life a heck of a lot easier. But think about how you can start sharing questions and sharing lessons from the questions that you're answering on the day-to-day basis. If you take nothing away from this, take that away. nothing else away from this episode. Take that away. Of course, James has automated it and made it, just a really simple process. But James, thanks again. What's your favorite platform for people to find you on? Of course, the website and everything will be in the description, but what's your favorite way to connect with people?
If you want to reach out to me personally, I'm open on Facebook and facebook.com/JK Yacoubian. Might be difficult to spell, but if you look up James YacDaddy, you'll find me.
Thank you, Lewis. I love it. Let's give the people one random yak fact before we sign off here.
Yeah. Let's see.
Putting you on the spot here.
Okay. There's in Tibet, yaks are native to Tibet. They have a yak butter tea, which is this thick tea of yak butter, tea, and salt called po cha, and they drink it a lot up in Tibet. Apparently, it's very popular. That is my yak fact.
That's the random yak fact. Well, I love how you've tied it into your brand. It's really working well. So, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Tune in live for it with Dennis Yu tomorrow. James, I think there's some magic to happen there for sure with the two of you as well. And until we see you guys next time, go out there and start thinking about how you can market outside the rules, color outside the lines, and make stuff happen. All right, we're going to sign off. Talk soon.